Welcome to this week's edition of the Gardener's Corner program. I'm Jennifer Brown, Family Consumer Science Agent with the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service. As we close out February, we want to recognize that February is Heart Health Month. And throughout the month of February, we have taught several different workshops about heart health or loving your heart, providing information on improving your cholesterol, your blood pressure, knowing what types of fats are good for your heart, as well as just overall lifestyle changes that you can make to improve your heart health. So before we close out this month of Heart Health Month, we want to provide that information to you in case you were not able to join us at one of our workshops. So how can you love your heart? This information is provided by the American Heart Association and the American Stroke Association. One of the reasons that we want to teach people about heart health is to improve their overall health, because heart disease is the #1 killer in Person County. And Granville County statistics are very similar to these as well. And you can see that, it kind of ebbs and flows a little bit about our ranking, but we are still significantly higher than the state of North Carolina when it comes to diseases of the heart. And if you ask most people, I hear a lot about cancer, a lot of different cancers, because we all know someone who's been touched by at least one form of cancer, but people often forget heart disease. And it's really concerning, since it is such a leading cause of death in this county. And it's connected to other illnesses as well. Having diabetes, half of the people with diabetes die from heart disease, because diabetes and heart disease are very closely linked. So let's get into, understanding what it means when we say like a heart event or heart disease or heart attack or stroke or any of these kinds of things. Well, you've probably heard of cardiovascular disease, which is what is a longer version of heart disease. It is actually a very serious health condition that is preventing your heart from doing what it needs to be doing, working properly, or it could be the blood vessels are not, pumping or moving blood around in the manner that it's supposed to. Because when everything is working the way it's supposed to, the blood is supposed to just kind of just flow like a river, basically. And it's supposed to go throughout the entire body, providing blood, oxygen, to all of the different organs, to our brain, to all of the important things in our body there. And if you have buildup in, your arteries, or, a clog in your blood vessels, this is going to prevent that oxygen-rich blood from getting to your brain, from getting to your heart, from, all the different important parts throughout our body. And most people, they get heart disease because of poor lifestyle habits. Maybe they're not eating healthy, they're not getting enough exercise, they're smoking. Any of these things can cause heart disease and increase your risk of heart disease. And if you're doing multiple of these things, then your risk continues to go up. As well as if you have a family risk, you have a family history of heart disease, that can factor into it as well. Certain ethnicities are more likely to have heart disease too. Now, a stroke occurs when that blood vessel that is carrying that oxygen to the brain gets blocked or possibly bursts. So when that happens, the oxygen is not getting to your brain, and the brain slowly starts to die. Again, you're more at risk the older that you are for strokes, and all of the other risk factors that are for heart disease are the same for stroke. And, again, if you have diabetes, if you're smoking, if you have cardiovascular disease, if you have high cholesterol, if you have high blood pressure, all these things increase your risk of having a stroke too. So a heart attack is when that blood flow that is going to your heart kind of gets, obstructed. It's not making its way to it. There's some kind of blockage there. And again, we want to prevent this blockage because we want everything to be flowing like it's supposed to. You're going to have a wide variety of different symptoms with heart attack. And if you've known someone who's experienced a heart attack, you've probably heard about some of these symptoms. Again, there's going to be some kind of pressure in the chest. Some people have said it's like an elephant's, sitting on my chest or whatever. You can also get it in other parts of your body too, even just in the upper parts, the back, the shoulders, the neck, the jaw, the arms, any of these things. It can become very difficult to breathe. I mean, imagine if somebody was sitting on your chest, it would be very difficult to breathe. It might cause you to be dizzy or lightheaded as well. You can have, even symptoms that you don't think about, such as unusual fatigue. This is often seen in women who experience heart attack and can last for several days. And a lot of times as a woman, we ignore the signs of, heart disease or heart attack or whatever else, because we just chalk it up as, oh, it's part of being a woman, or it's hormonal, or it's menopause, or it's something, is going on. And that's why a lot of women have more of a higher risk for heart disease. In fact, 1 out of every 3 women can die or experience heart disease. So if you're having these symptoms, it's better to be cautious. Call 911 for immediate medical care. If you think that you might be having a heart attack, I would advise you not to drive yourself, if at all possible, because again, you don't want to be driving and then have a heart attack or have some other problems and cause a wreck or someone else get hurt too, or you. So what puts you at risk for a heart attack or a stroke? One of the first things is having that high cholesterol. And your high cholesterol can be caused, again, by what you're eating. You can have a family history. If you're overweight or obese, you're not getting enough exercise, if you're older, all these kinds of things. So we've got this little chart. If you can see, if you're watching on the TV instead of the radio, and excuse me, you can see kind of what our desirable range of our cholesterol is versus the high range. Your doctor might give you different numbers based upon your age, your weight, different things like that. They might have a specific goal that they want you to be in this range. So always talk with your medical provider there. And again, there's a difference between your total cholesterol, your LDL cholesterol, and your HDL cholesterol too. So when you are going and you're getting blood work done, look at all of those numbers. And again, talk to your doctor about what they would like to see you in. Sometimes you can have your LDL, which is your bad cholesterol, can be high, but your good cholesterol can be high, or vice versa. Whatever. We want to make sure that they're in the good range on all 3 of them, actually. Okay. You can have something called atherosclerosis. This is where that plaque is building up in your arteries, and that's going to prevent that blood from flowing through to all of your organs there. And again, on the TV, there's kind of just a picture of some of this plaque buildup. And you can see that if you have kind of like a tube, and then you've got gunk inside that tube, in this case, plaque, it's going to be very hard for that blood to be able to, get around these peaks and these, clogs that are in there. So we want to make sure that we're not building up that plaque. And by eating a little bit healthier, we can do that. Also, you can have it where sometimes the inner wall thickens. So it's not that there's a plaque build up too. It's that wall, that hole inside that tube is like shrinking there. Again, there's different things that can cause either one of these. As I've said, we're concerned about heart disease with anyone, but heart disease is the #1 killer of American women, and it kills almost 8 times more women than breast cancer. In fact, the disease kills more women than all forms of cancer combined. As you get older, again, you're more at risk because you're going through a lot of different changes, and your estrogen level is dropping as you're going through menopause. You typically have 1 or more of the risk factors I've already mentioned. And then again, younger women, it's not to say that you're not at risk, but you would be at risk if you're using certain, contraceptives, or if you're smoking, or again, if you're just overweight, if you have that genetic family history as well. So I don't want to just think, oh, I'm young, I don't need to worry about it just yet. No, we've seen that more and more people are getting diagnosed earlier in life with heart disease and diabetes. We have people who are younger that are having heart attacks or strokes because their lifestyle might have unhealthy aspects to it. Again, there is when we're talking about strokes, again, there's different types of what could be going on. It could be you've got, again, a clot is, lodging somewhere and it's preventing blockage there. It's preventing that blood flow to get to the brain there. Sometimes, you could have that clot that is just temporarily blocking blood flow too, and it can cause just temporary or minor problems there. Then you could have, I've known a couple of people that have been having a brain bleed there, some kind of aneurysm or something, a blood vessel burst that can cause high blood pressure, other things like that. And if you've had one, you're more likely to have another one as well. And in fact, stroke kills 140,000 people every year, about 1 out of every 20 deaths. So these are the signs of a stroke here, kind of just a simple acronym, FAST. So if you spot a stroke, you need to be fast to go get help. So the FAST stands for your face is drooping there. You might experience arm weakness. You might have that slurred or difficult, speech difficulty. And it is time to call 911 there. For more information, you can always go to the American Stroke Association, and they can give you a little bit more details about some of these warning signs. But I can tell you that every 40 seconds, someone in the U.S. has a stroke. And again, we're having these heart issues earlier and earlier. So don't let it happen to you. So what can we do to get healthy? We've kind of talked about some of the things and the problems that we're experiencing. How can we not have those? Well, there is things that you can do. Now, there's always things we can't change, because I have people that are always talking to me, well, it runs in my family, or I'm older, or I'm overweight. I'm going to get it. And it's just like, that is a very small, percentage of what's causing the issue. In fact, I think about 30% of, our those risk factors can affect things. Okay. But there's about 70% of things that you can do. I can't control these 30%, but I can control the other 70. Whether, you're smoking, you can control your high blood pressure, again, by improving your diet, or if your doctor is recommending medication. High cholesterol as well, diet, medication. Now, the ideal goal is that you do so well improving your diet and your lifestyle that even if you are on medication, you are able to get off of that blood pressure and cholesterol medication, so that you don't have to take those medications for the rest of your life. They're supposed to be a temporary fix. And unfortunately, people use them as I got that pill, I can eat whatever I want now, and that pill will control these things. When we're looking at your cholesterol as well, I don't want that total cholesterol to be too high. I don't want the good cholesterol to be too low. And I don't want the lousy or the bad cholesterol to be too high. So there's 3 different types of cholesterols you can work with. Your doctor may not give you specific guidelines of how to improve your diet. So ask if you could get a referral to a registered dietitian. Or check with your insurance companies. Most insurance companies will allow you to see a registered dietitian free of charge. It might be an ongoing thing. It might be you get 4 visits. It varies between insurance companies, but usually they allow this because they don't want you to get heart disease. They don't want you to have cancer. They don't want you to have diabetes, because it's going to cost them more. So they want to, it's kind of a preventive, measure. They let you have your annual wellness checkup. They want you to have this to improve your wellness anyway. Okay. We all have, not everybody, but a lot of us, we have a little bit of weight to lose. COVID did not help. It kind of crept up. Well, COVID's been gone long enough that we all need to. I'm, no different. We all need to get back into that, regimen of exercising or eating better, or just, getting up and moving more. It doesn't even have to be that moderate level of activity, but just sitting less. Okay, because that's increasing our weight and our body mass index, and it's not helping our overall health. Just losing a small percentage of your weight can improve your risk for heart disease and diabetes. And when I say a small percent, I'm talking about losing 5 to 7% of your weight can make a big difference in your overall health when it comes to your heart disease and your diabetes. And if you're 200 pounds, 5% is only 10 pounds. It's not like a huge amount that you have to lose there. And every year during the holiday season, we put on about 5 to 7 pounds every year, and then we never lose it. And then the following holiday season, we put on another 5 to 7 pounds. So again, we need to try to not have that happen. And even if you do put on that weight, get it off. Okay. Again, other things. Sometimes it's not what you're eating, it's the amount that you're eating, or it's your beverages. I see people drinking a lot of unhealthy beverages all the time. And, occasionally everything in moderation. You will see me with, some of the beverage that aren't the best for me, but I'm not doing it on a daily basis, because even just one soft drink can, one 12-ounce soft drink can, a day, every day for a year means you have consumed 15 pounds of sugar. So for those of you that, like visual stuff, think about that 5-pound bag of sugar you might have in your pantry. You have consumed 3 of those just by drinking that one 12-ounce can of soft drink every day. So I have a lot of people like, oh, I only have one a day. That adds up. And again, that 15 pounds of sugar, that's just from the soft drink cans. That's not counting any other desserts, candy, fruit, sugary, anything that you've eaten. It's just from the soft drink can. Okay. And again, sometimes it's just the portion that we're eating. Okay. You want to go to a fast food restaurant? Do they have a kids meal, or do they have a healthier side option? Or can you get that entree grilled instead of fried, or something like that? There's a variety of different things that you can do to just eat a little bit better while you are out to eat. Okay. So we are going to get a brief or take a brief break to get a word on from one of our sponsors. But after the break, we're going to come back and we're going to continue to talk about our heart health, because we want to give you information on the American Heart Association's Life's Essential 8. These are 8 ways to live better so that you are not experiencing heart disease.
Jason Aycock Auctioneering, NCAL 6679, announces a farm equipment auction to be held for Ronnie Langdon at 5098 Zacks Mill Road in Anger, Saturday, March 1st at 10 a.m. For terms, more information, and to see photos of items up for auction on Saturday, March 1st in Anger, North Carolina, log on to AycockAuctioneering.com. This auction will be held rain or shine. No bias premium will be charged. In-person bidding available. Also bidding available through proxybid.com. Up for auction at 10 a.m. on Saturday, March 1st. Tractors and forklifts, trucks, trailers, a motorcycle, irrigation, and other farm-related equipment. For terms, visit the website AycockAuctioneering.com. Call Jason at 919-495-0285. This auction again will take place Saturday, March 1st at 5098 Zacks Mill Road in Anger. Visit the website AycockAuctioneering.com or call Jason 919-495-0285.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Gardener's Corner program. I am Jennifer Brown, Family Consumer Science Agent with the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service here in Person County as well as Granville County. Before the break, we were talking about the fact that February is Heart Health Month, and we wanted to provide information for you in case you weren't able to join us at any of our heart health workshops this past month. And we were going to continue to talk about Life's Essential 8. This is provided to us by the American Heart Association and is their 8 ways to live better, because we want you to realize that you can stop heart disease before it starts. Making small, simple changes is important. Okay, so as you can see from the screen, if you're looking on TV there, Life's Essential 8 include eating better, being more physically active, quitting tobacco, getting healthy sleep, managing our weight, controlling our cholesterol, controlling our blood sugar, and controlling our blood pressure. So let's dive into these 8 things here. So a lot of times people who get diagnosed with heart disease or diabetes or something, they will give my office a call and they want information on how to eat better. You know, my doctor told me I need to exercise and, eat better. If I knew how to do that, I wouldn't be in this, this predicament or, be concerned about heart disease or whatnot. So I just try to provide a little bit more information. Again, I'm not a registered dietitian, so I don't give people like one-on-one meal plans, but I give you the tools and the information and resources so that you can figure out what steps you can make. We try to do a lot of like self-management type programs where we give you the information, but it's really up to you to do the work. There's no magic elixir or magic, pill or anything that you can do to improve your overall health. There's a lot of things out there that say you can, but it also comes with a lot of other side effects and concerns, and they're not always long-term fixes. Okay, it's kind of like a diet. I don't recommend too many specific diets because usually they're very restrictive. They're very short-term, kind of things. You do this diet and you can stick with it until you lose the weight, and then you go back to eating and living the way you were before, and then you just put that weight kind of right back on. So it's kind of a cycle there. So when we say eat better, I think most of us know what is healthy and what's not. If nothing else, eating more fruits and vegetables, eating more whole grains, eating low-fat dairy, eating lean proteins. These are kind of the generic, things that we'll tell people to do. But just improving our daily habits. We make so many decisions every day, and most of them are like food decisions. Whether, are you going to get up and eat breakfast? What kind of breakfast are you going to eat? Are you going to get up and exercise? Are you going to drink that coffee? How much sugar or creamer are you going to put in that coffee? Are you going to stop at a coffee shop and get one that's really loaded down with all of the creams and the sugars and all that other toppings and different things like that? So we try to give people some ideas of what you need to eat. If you do ever hear us recommending a diet, the closest ones that we will do is the Mediterranean or the DASH diet when it comes to your heart health. And again, I don't typically like using the word diet. We refer to it as the Mediterranean way of eating, because we want you to make small changes to your eating habits so that you can improve the way that you're eating for the rest of your life. So it's a long-term lifestyle change and not just a short diet there, okay? So what can you do to eat heart healthy? Well, plenty of fruits and vegetables. I always tell people, we'll talk about counting calories or counting carbs or any of that kind of stuff. And people are like, that's just so hard. I'm like, well, if you don't want to have to count calories, then eat things that don't have labels. If you don't want to have to read nutrition labels, then eat things that don't have labels. Your fresh produce doesn't have labels on it. Okay. And usually, those things for the most part are pretty healthy. Now, what we do to them is not always healthy. You can deep fry, a lot of things. You can drench a lot of things with sauces and condiments and dressings and those kinds of things to make it unhealthy there. Choosing whole grain foods, whole wheat bread, oatmeal, brown rice. These things are good sources of fiber. They also make you feel fuller. That fiber helps you feel full so that maybe you eat less. Drinking water will also fill you up too, so that maybe you eat less. Um, we do recommend fish. It's one of the, healthiest proteins out there. It's also got a lot of heart healthy omega-3 or omega-6 fatty acids in different fishes and healthy oils as well. So how you cook, things, the cooking method as well as what type of fat you're using is good too. So we want you to limit your saturated fats and your trans fats. Your saturated ones are basically from kind of your animal products, whether it's actual animal meat or your dairy products. Your trans fats can be found a lot in our processed foods or our like our fast foods, those fatty fried things. So limiting the amount of red meat that you eat might be healthy. Again, just choosing lean cuts of meat. So even if you're eating red meat, trimming the fat off. Just because you're having poultry, if you're deep fat frying it, or if you've got the skin on, these things you can just tweak a little bit here so that you can still enjoy your food, but also have it not kill you. Yeah. So that includes your dairy products. Just because something says low fat doesn't mean it's healthy for you. A lot of products out there, except for possibly the dairy products, depending on which one it is, they'll take out the fat, but they put in more sugar or they put in more salt or something like that. With your milks, that's not the case. It's just reducing the amount of fat that's in there. They all have the same amount of sugar. They all have the same amount of calcium there. Now, your yogurts and other dairy products might be a little bit different. You can get butter like unsalted there. You can get butter made with a healthier type of oil, such as olive oil or avocado oil or something like that. So just you're going to have to read those labels there and see, okay, on this dairy product, did they take out like low fat, but then add extra sugar or salt to it to keep that flavor is why they do it. Limit your intake of beverages and foods that have added sugar. Okay, so even your fruit juices, we want it to be 100% juice so that you're not getting all this extra added sugar or chemicals or those kinds of things. But we would still rather you eat the whole fruit than drink the fruit juice. So learn about the amount of salt that is in some of your products. And again, you just have to look at nutrition labels for that. If there's a lot of products, whether it's soups or even canned vegetables, that they'll have different options. They'll have the normal salt, reduced sodium, or no salt added. If you can get down to the no salt added, that's the best one for you. Now, all three of those types of cans are going to cost the same. So it's not more expensive to get the no salt added, and it's better for your health, and it'll save you money in the long run because you won't have as expensive of health bills. Nuts and seeds are really good snacks. They're also good sources of protein too, but you still need to watch the serving size. So just kind of that handful there is what we're looking for of nuts there. Again, even the nut butters, the peanut butter or the cashew butter or almond butter, whatever, we want to watch the amount, because even if they're good types of fats, it's unsaturated fats in those nut butters, it's still calories, it's still fat. So we still want to watch the amount of that there. And drink water, more water instead of those sugary beverages. If you want a little flavor, slice up some fruit or even some like cucumbers, or put some, mint leaves with some strawberries or whatever in there instead of adding sugar to those things. Because I mentioned a little bit earlier about 1 12-ounce can of soft drink. If you have just one a day for an entire year, it's 15 pounds of sugar. That's 3 5-pound bags of sugar. But just one soda has 9 teaspoons of sugar. If you're not sure what that is, get a soft drink can and kind of put it there so you can see kind of the amount. And then get a clear glass. We say clear just so you can see really what it is, and get your bag of sugar and get a teaspoon out and put 9 in there. Okay. And it might be more. It's at least 9, depending on what possible drink it is. But they've been putting more and more in there. The way that because on your soft drink can or your whatever beverage you're drinking there, your sugary sweetened drink, It'll have grams of sugar. And if you want to know what that means in teaspoons, because a lot of people, gram is a unit of weight. And, it's hard to know what a gram is unless you just have a scale. So we let people know that 4 grams of sugar is 1 teaspoon. So if your canned soft drink, which some of those bottles I've looked at have like 64 grams of sugar, that means there are 16 teaspoons of sugar in there. So again, get that bottle, that's 20 or whatever ounce bottle you have, just to kind of so you see how much of that, and get that teaspoon out and put 16 or how many ever there are in that clear glass to see how much of that beverage is sugar. You would never just pour water in that cup and just drink that sugary water. I don't think you would, but that's basically what you're doing with that soft drink can or that bottle or whatever else. Again, everything in moderation. I'm not saying you can't ever have that, but we have way too much of it, and we need to reduce that amount there too. So also, we just need to be more active when it comes to improving our eating habits. A lot of us need to be more physically active as well. We're talking about exercise here, but we're also just talking about moving more. I know some people, they're like, oh, I do my 30 minutes. And then it's like they sit for the rest of the day. And that's not good. In fact, there's been some doctors and researchers that have said that sitting is the new smoking. We sit so much that it's causing the same health concerns that smoking does. And we know how many people die every year from smoking. Okay. So just being physically active and moving helps your all of your organs there. It helps your muscles, your joints, your bones, all these things stay healthy and strong. And there's 4 different types of exercise. So it's not just your cardio or your endurance or your aerobic. Those all kind of mean the same thing there. Your flexibility, your balance, your strength building, and then the endurance, which is also known as cardio or aerobic there. So the American Heart Association recommends that we get at least 30 minutes of moderate physical activity every day, or at least 5 days a week, for a total of 150 minutes. Now, those 30 minutes does not mean, if I'm at my office and I walk to the bathroom, or I'm walking to the copy room, or I went to the kitchen or whatever, that's just extra steps. I don't get to count, well, I went shopping and I walked around the mall for 4 hours. I'm not getting my heart rate up. Okay, so that doesn't count as my 30 minutes of physical activity. I have people that they moderate their steps and they're like, oh, I got my 30 minutes because I did this many steps today. I'm like, no, the heart rate's got to get up there. Okay, the steps are just an added bonus. Okay, so I don't want you to think, oh, that's not worth it, doesn't count, any of these things. That's not what I want you to be focused on there. So there's not one particular way that you can be physically active. What's your favorite way to be physically active? Think about it. It could be, some people are walkers. They want to go walking. That's fine, as long as you're getting that heart rate up. So we have what's called the talk test. If you can, I'm going to walk in place now. If I can walk in place and I'm able to talk, I'm able to keep talking while I'm doing this. But if I started singing, I probably wouldn't have enough air in my diaphragm because my heart and my lungs are working to keep me walking. So I probably wouldn't have enough, breath to start singing at this moment there. Okay. But if I slow it down and I'm kind of like barely taking steps here, I probably could sing. I probably could just walk very slowly and be singing. Okay. So walking this way is not getting my heart rate up to where it's, causing really breathing problems there. Okay. So this would be light, intensive walking. But if I'm walking and I'm swinging my arms and my heart is pumping and I can still talk, but I can hear that I'm getting a little bit out of a breath, that is moderate level. That's what we want you to. Now, if I started jogging or running in place here, I would probably not be even barely able to talk, kind of thing. You can see the difference there. That's vigorous physical activity. So we want it somewhere between that moderate and physical activity. So if you're just doing something and you're just kind of like moving at a slow pace or whatever, that's not that moderate level. Okay, that's not part of that 30 minutes. We really want that heart rate to kind of get up there. Now, I can do, like a warm up stretch or a cool down stretch, or I can do some flexibility, yoga or Pilates or those kinds of exercises. And that's still going to help my joints. It's still going to help my heart. It's still going to do those things, but it's not quite that 30 minutes what we're looking for. So typically they say about 30 minutes of moderate physical activity 5 days a week. And so for the other 2, that's where you do those strength building. You're lifting some weight there. And your flexibility and balance could be part of your 5 days a week where you're doing that, warm up, cool down kind of thing, because you do need to stretch your muscles. Just before you get out of bed every day, you need to stretch. You can do your 5-minute stretches then, and you got your stretching or flexibility exercises done. Okay. One of the easiest and hardest things to do is the third one. Don't smoke. If you are not a smoker, great, you got this one done. You can check this one off your life's essential 8. If you are a smoker, I know how difficult it can be to quit smoking. I've had enough people I know that have struggled with this. Please contact your local health department. The Preston County Health Department has resources for you, but they're going to send you to the North Carolina Quit line. I think it's 1-800-QUIT-NOW is the telephone number. And it's a phone line that's open, 24 hours, 7 days a week kind of thing. And they provide not only just, support from another person, but they might even have other resources that they can share too. Okay. And when I say don't smoke, that includes smokeless tobacco. So even whether you're smoking traditional cigarettes, your e-cigarettes, you're vaping, you're using smokeless tobacco with dips or snuffs or chews, these are some of the worst things that you can do to your body, because that tobacco has that addictive chemical nicotine, and it gives you a nice, pleasant feeling. Everybody loves feeling that. Those e-cigarettes and those vapes also have nicotine. So just because the products look fancy and they're high tech doesn't mean they're safe. Using any type of these tobacco products damages nearly every organ in your body and can cause heart disease and cancer. So using smokeless tobacco is not a safe alternative to smoking. And using the e-cigarettes is just as dangerous as smoking traditional cigarettes too. Okay? Again, more information, call the 1-800-QUIT-NOW, the North Carolina Quit line, for information and resources to help you stop smoking. Okay. So we are going to take another brief break to get a word on from one of our sponsors, and then we're going to come back and talk about sleep. This is one of the things, we're always telling people, you got to stop this, you can't do this, you need to limit this. We're going to talk to you about how you can get more of this, because most of us, not all of us, but most of us are not getting enough sleep every night, or you're not getting good quality sleep. And we want to change that. So come back after the break and learn how to do that.
Do you have those annoying potholes in your driveway? Need some driveway regrading? Or maybe you just need some new gravel? Give JT Allison a call. Jody has been in business for over 25 years, specializing in driveway grading and hauling gravel. He also does all types of small tractor work and some backhoe and bush hogging work. Jody strives to do a top-notch job and to make sure that you, the customer, is always happy. Whether it's a small job or a big job, we have multiple truck sizes to accommodate your needs. Here at JT Allison, we appreciate your business. Check us out on Facebook at JT Allison LLC, or give us a call at 336-583-6250. Jody and Kim Allison. We are rocking the county one load at a time.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Gardener's Corner. We have been talking about heart health, and we've been talking about the 8 essential ways that you can be healthier from the American Heart Association. And before the break, we just mentioned that we were going to talk about healthy sleep. Sleep can affect your health in several different ways. And in fact, 1 out of 3 of us are not getting enough sleep. So some of the benefits of good sleep is, again, you're giving your body time to regenerate, to heal and repair any cells or tissues or those kinds of things. It helps your brain function, your cognitive work better, so that you can be more creative, more productive. All the synapses are firing. You're more alert. You can maybe make better decisions. It also means that you will have less risk of chronic disease, because poor sleep can make you more at risk for Alzheimer's disease, depression, diabetes, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, cholesterol, infections. So you can just be healthier. So a lot of times, some people are getting a few people are getting too much sleep. That is not also good either, but most of us are just not getting enough. So adults are supposed to get kind of about 6 to 8 hours of sleep. Sometimes you just need to put your phone down. Okay, that little blue light from your phone or from the TV can actually mess with your melatonin production. Your body doesn't know that it's time to go to sleep because you're keeping it awake with this bright light or this blue light in your face. So it's recommended to put the phone down, or your whatever electronic you have, whether it's the iPad, or turn off the TV about an hour before bed, and maybe have a wind down routine. Maybe you need to set an alarm. If you go to bed at 10, you set an alarm at 9 o'clock to kind of put those things down, and that will slowly signal your brain to kind of wind down. Maybe you need to relax by doing some meditation or deep breathing, or taking a shower, or reading a book, or writing in a journal, whatever kind of relaxes you can definitely help there. Okay. And then the 5th tip for being heart healthy is managing your weight. Again, we gain weight as we age to a certain point, but then our metabolism starts slowing down, and so does our activity levels. So we need to keep our activity level up so that our metabolism can stay up as well, because our hormones are just making our metabolism slow down too. And gaining weight here or there, like little bits, it might not be too bad, but it's just where we gain too much weight can be a problem and cause us to be overweight or obese, and that can be dangerous for our health and cause serious problems, whether it's the high cholesterol, high blood pressure, asthma, all kinds of issues. So, and then we want to control our cholesterol. This is just one of the things that we want to control. Cholesterol is it's kind of like a waxy substance that's in our blood, and it helps us function, our body function properly. Unfortunately, too much of even a good thing is not good for your overall body. So when you get too much cholesterol, it slowly will build up there, and you can kind of have that plaque there inside the walls of your arteries. So it is restricting blood flow that's going to your heart or to your brain. Again, if you're watching this on the TV there, you can see the picture of what a healthy artery looks like, and then you can see an unhealthy artery there. And you can see that if you've got this tube and then all of a sudden it's filled with plaque, and then you only have this small of a hole, it is harder for that blood to flow in there because it's narrowing your arteries. It's making them less flexible. They become very hard and rigid, and that can put you more at risk for heart disease or stroke. We want you to lower your cholesterol by eating less fat, less overall fat, but less of the bad fats, your saturated fat, your trans fats. You can look at the labels and see foods, which foods are high in cholesterol. Typically, we want to eat less processed foods. Eating more foods that have more fiber will also make us feel fuller and give us a lot of the nutrients that we need, so that maybe we can manage our weight as well there too. Again, just balancing the amount of calories is good, but you can also consume less calories, or you can exercise more to burn more calories so that your calories are kind of right at the level that you need them to be. In addition to your cholesterol, we want your blood sugar healthy. I've mentioned that your heart disease and diabetes are very closely linked there. And it's not that carbohydrates are bad. It's that because carbohydrates are the main source of energy in our body, but it's the type of carbohydrates that most of us consume. A lot of us, if you're eating the complex, carbohydrates, the whole grains, the fruits, the veggies, those kinds of things, it's more complex. It's harder for them, and it takes longer for them to be broken down, and they're harder to digest there. Your refined sugars or foods that are high in sugars are digested very quickly. And so they're going quickly into the bloodstream as sugar there. And if your blood sugar is getting too high, again, we can have diabetes and other issues that go along with diabetes, because diabetes affects us from our head to our toes. And we want to reduce the risk of diabetes. Some warning signs of diabetes: if you're frequently thirsty, tired, hungry, you got blurred vision, you're going to the bathroom a lot. It could be that you're even losing weight quickly, which we often are excited about. That could actually be a dangerous warning sign too. So if you're having risk for diabetes, or if you're concerned about that, again, go get your A1C or your blood sugar tested, and it can give you a better idea of whether you have diabetes or creeping up towards that level. We also want you to manage your blood pressure. Again, it sounds just like what it is. It's how difficult or easy it is for your body to be pumped around, or your blood to be pumped around your body, because the heart is beating and that blood is pumping through our body, and it's putting pressure on that blood vessel walls. And again, if everything's healthy and everything's smooth and it's flexible and it's fluid, that those vessels can expand and contract and move along with the blood. But when your blood vessels become very narrow and they're filled with maybe that plaque, and they're less flexible and they're more rigid, then it's causing your heart, it's harder for it to get the blood that it needs to the vessels, and it's having to work overtime, and it's increasing the pressure that it's putting on those vessels there. Okay. And we don't want that to happen there, because high blood pressure can be known as hypertension. And this is a risk factor for heart disease too. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't have any other symptoms. You go and you get your blood pressure tested, and they tell you, hey, you got high blood pressure, but you can't just tell always looking at someone there. But your risk of having a heart attack or stroke increases by you having that blood pressure issues. So just watching your weight, watching your eating habits, and exercising can improve your blood pressure as well. Again, you can go have your blood pressure taken. Even just a lot of pharmacies have those little blood pressure cuff machines. If you are concerned about blood pressure, you might qualify for a free blood pressure cuff, the electronic cuffs to be sent to your house. Your insurance might cover that depending on that. So talk to your healthcare provider about what number they recommend for you. Because overall, about 120/80 is the recommended thing. And again, that is looking at two different numbers there: the pressure that's in your blood vessels, and then the pressure that's in your vessels when your heart is resting. So we want to look at, it's kind of a combination of those two numbers there. So we've mentioned a lot of risk factors for heart disease, and by doing different things, you can improve your risk or lower your risk of heart disease. And just by doing these four simple things: eating healthy, exercising, not smoking, and maintaining a healthy weight, you can reduce your risk of heart disease by as much as 82% there. And again, if some of these risk factors, if you just are doing, one of the risk factors, that can double your risk. 2 risk factors quadruples your risk, and 3 or more risk factors can increase your risk more than tenfold. So if you're not eating healthy, you're not exercising, you're smoking, you're not at a healthy weight, you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high blood sugar, all 8 of these kinds or things right here, 7, then you have increased or doubled or tripled or quadrupled even your heart disease risk that much more. Okay. Know your family history. You can't know if you have that history unless you check. You talk to your family there. And even if you don't have that history, or even if you do, you still want to go get your annual checkup, get your lab work done, and ask for a printout or go into your My Portal to look up these numbers. If you don't know how to look at your My Portal, we do have a digital skills agent at our office that is helping people know how to do their My Health Portal, no matter which medical center you are with. Be prepared to hey, these are some things I have questions about, or things, I don't know what my number is or what my doctor recommends for me. Have those questions available ahead of time. Maybe even send those questions to your doctor or the nurse in the portal ahead of time so that they know and they can be prepared to answer these questions during your visit. And when you call to set up your appointment, let them know, hey, this is what I want to talk about, so that they know, hey, they need to be more than just a 15 or 30-minute appointment. This needs to be a little bit longer of an appointment. Or maybe they need to send you to a specialist to refer you for that. Again, this is just these different information. This resources was from a variety of different sources: our local health department, the American Heart Association, Cooperative Extension Service, University of Arkansas, the CDC, and the National Institute of Health. We hope that you are able to join us as we celebrate throughout the month of March. We're going to be celebrating National Nutrition Month. We have a lot of workshops scheduled. Some of them are going to be virtual, that you can check us out on our Extension Eventbrite website, but you can always find out on our Facebook or Instagram page. It's our Food for Thought page, and it's at Person Granville FCS. Okay. We hope that you are able to join us this month and check us out online and can attend one or two or a couple of those events. Thanks so much for tuning in this week.
Even though the calendar says it's February, we all know that spring 2025 is not far behind. Come to T.G. Brooks Supply Company and get some sound advice for your lawn preparation coming up soon. They have had so much experience, so why not let the professionals work with you on your spring lawn and garden planning? They serve homeowners all over Person and surrounding counties. They will tell you all about the advantages of pre-emergent weed control or weed and feed. Perk up your lawn with fertilizer, lime, and weed control to get your lawn off to a proper spring start. To beautify your flower garden and shrubs around your home, T.G. Brooks Supply Company carries hardwood and dyed mulches, and they do deliver right to your home or office. They sell by the scoop or by the bag. They feature the popular lawn and garden chemicals and treatments, insecticides, herbicides, and they carry the soils like topsoil, bulk planting soil, potting soil, cow manure, and pine needles to make your place look sharp. They have equipment for sale or for rent like spreaders, power pluggers, and lots of lawn and garden tools and wheelbarrows. Before you know it, it will be March. They will have your flower garden and vegetables and your garden supplies. When it comes to beautification, come in today and talk over your plans. T.G. Brooks Supply Company has water heater elements, thermostats, pressure relief valves. They have your Taylor wood stove parts and Comfort Glow heaters for extra warmth. Be sure to spend some time shopping Maybell's Boutique, which is right across the street, featuring children's clothing, shoes, and other nice selections for children. 411 Helena Maria Road, T.G. Brooks Supply Company, and Maybell's Boutique. Person County and surrounding areas count on T.G. Brooks Supply Company and Maybell's Boutique. Phone 336-364-3016.